All right, Fight World, the decision is in. Frankie Edgar is the victor here with a decision that a lot of people will be talking about for many days to come. I wonder what you guys think about this, because this is a very close decision and there's a lot to be talked about here. So without further ado, guys, just make sure one thing: subscribe. You already know, made for fighting. Be sure to like as well, and for sure, leave your comments, because this is a great fight to talk about in terms of judging, scoring, and who you give certain advantages to in that scoring game. So away we go, round by round analysis brought to you by Made for Fighting. Let's jump right into this main event that left us all in awe, with Frankie Edgar's drop to the bantamweight, which we know was a very, very important decision for Frankie. His career wasn't looking good other places, so this was a great opportunity for him to show up and fight a guy who seemed to have a lot more power than Frankie. So round one, right away, we see the same typical Frankie Edgar. He's a great boxer with footwork that is unparalleled by many, and his pace, his timing, just great in this fight. He stayed on the outside very, very intelligently, okay? And he waited for his shots. The name of this fight should be timing, because Frankie Edgar certainly had it. As we all predicted, Pedro knew that Frankie would be on the outside, and he prepared for this. You're starting to see in mixed martial arts a lot of fighters using this. Sean O'Malley fell victim to this against Chito Vera, and now you start to see why. Munhoz's leg kicks were definitely a huge factor in this fight. I mean, after all, he was anticipating Frankie's style, and he prepared for it so well. Round one, I definitely gave it to Pedro Munhoz. I feel like Frankie landed some great combinations, but it all boils down to Frankie's weakness. His weakness is that he has soft hands. I don't think he has potential to drop people the way that Munhoz does. Punch for punch, I did see Munhoz doing way more damage. But again, the judges see Frankie's volume, and I think that led to this overall victory. So although round one, we all agree, ended in Munhoz's favor, round two, Frankie definitely came out and he made some very, very high fighter IQ adjustments. So these adjustments allowed Frankie to keep the same distance game, but he started to realize and pick apart the game plan. The leg kicks were not as evident in the second round, in my opinion. Frankie was able to capitalize on this, and now we have a fight after 2 rounds. Frankie Edgar, Pedro Munhoz, 19-19, tie fight. Round 3. Less leg kicks even still. It almost seems like Munhoz was getting tagged in such a way that he forgot about the leg kicks that he was ever so effective with in the first round, and it seemed like Frankie started to get some momentum. If I'm a judge going into round 3, yikes. It could go either way. In round 2, we see Frankie attempt a takedown, and we definitely start to see what Frankie needed to do. Frankie's adjustments were absolutely great. It became a boxing match, and it was toe-to-toe. Frankie knew he had to do something to switch up this rhythm, and that's what I mean by fighter IQ. Let me see your ability to adjust to the adversity in front of you, and this way, you have to adjust to something new. And I think that kind of back and forth is what makes this chess match of a striking battle incredible to watch. So again, Frankie wowed me in his ability to absolutely take it to Munhoz in terms of the IQ game. Munhoz seemed to be slightly slower, again, packing all that power. So although the takedown was there for Frankie, Munhoz showed his defense. He was able to get back up to his feet, and he never really allowed Frankie to control him on the ground. There were a few moments where I saw Frankie, seemed like he was taking some of the advantage in the ground, but Munhoz back up to his feet. So credit there to Munhoz for doing this. And then, of course, Frankie was really showing his footwork and timing ever more so in the third round. Munhoz had these really, really good jabs in round 3. I felt like he slightly walked away as the winner of round 3. So again, this fight definitely close. Frankie has a hard time getting out of the powerful punches that do drop him, and he's known to be dropped in these fights. And I was waiting for him to get dropped this fight almost. So it's kind of a funny thing here. We got the point striker we expected, and he did not eat the big punch that dropped him this time, so I'm happy to see that. In round 4, Frankie with the combos. Frankie was utilizing his boxing, and it was never absent. Even when he was getting beat, he stuck to a game plan that was ever evolving, which is when you evolve throughout a fight, meaning you see what the other opponent is presenting that is a challenge to you, and you're able to adapt to that. Adaptation is super key. I do think it's what the judges saw when giving Frankie the benefit of the doubt in this decision. Round 5 was super close, and I do believe the 2 last rounds could be easily coin tosses. Hard to call. If you take one side over the other, I certainly can make an argument for both sides. This is what makes this fight a great talking point. I'm going to be breaking this down in our vodcast tomorrow. That's going to break down the entire card. I know we're going to get Raul's take because, after all, he is the striker of the two of us. He knows a thing or two, and he'll be breaking that down for you here tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And again, the fifth round was just so close. I gave it to Munhoz. If I had to pick with a gun to my head, I would say, Munhoz takes the fight. I scored it 3 rounds to 2 for Munhoz. And what's really interesting is that this was a split decision. When I saw that the first judge gave it to Frankie, I said, uh-oh, maybe I called this fight wrong. We all know I'm a Frankie fanboy. I cannot help it. But I had to be realistic on this one. I think Munhoz had the win by a slight margin. But then you look at these numbers, and it kind of throws you off a little bit. I think numbers are also something that's very misleading in fights. You see a guy hit more, and you think, well, he's winning the fight because he's hitting more. But be careful, because if you punch me and I punch you back, and my punches are stronger, land cleaner, obviously you have to give me the credit in terms of who's winning the fight. And I do think that Frankie was hurt more. Frankie was limping on that front leg. He was trying to come forward and he would fall on his own sometimes. I do think the more damaging blows were coming from Munhoz. So it blew my mind that the judges gave it to Frankie in that aspect. I thought Frankie was way more hurt. And I think that a fight this close, you have to err and say, well, if there's 2 fighters that have come very close in terms of a decision and one looks more hurt, usually that sways the judges. But we didn't see that tonight. We saw Frankie get away with a victory. It's well-deserved on both ends, in my opinion. I'm not too upset about this because I do feel that it was close enough where it's not a robbery either way. My scoring system showed that Munhoz won this the way I had it, round by round breakdown. So that to me was huge, and I congratulate Frankie so much. Guys, this fight card was incredible. We had nothing but stoppages all throughout, and the only fight that went to decision was actually a fight that was worth watching. So it was really great because normally decisions are very stale. This one was an all-out war. I would like to know what you guys think. Please make sure you leave a comment below. Subscribe to my channel. We're going to have so many breakdowns for you, so many more documentaries and videos coming up. I'm so excited to be a part of this journey with you guys. Made for fighting. This is Danny Miami. See you tomorrow, guys. Don't forget, guys, always protect yourselves at all times and always throw that 1-2.